You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, you know, the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We want to chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Welcome back. Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100 is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you with us.
Glad to be back.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. World Kindness Day is today. Guess that leaves you and me out.
I was gonna say something nice, but forget it.
I don't know. World Kindness Day.
What kind of kind?
I don't know. And it's National Indian Pudding Day. Now I know most kinds of pudding, but I had to look up to see what Indian pudding was. It's a cold weather classic. I guess I don't know. It's like, where's it cold at right now? It's not really cold here, so. Let's see. It's made the pudding. It's the North American Indians made the pudding with wheat due to a shortage of grain. The colonists eventually used cornmeal. Since the colonists had learned to cultivate maize, corn, from the indigenous peoples, the crop was readily available. They replaced the water with milk. For added flavor, the cooks added molasses or maple syrup. I guess they went to Canada for that. They also would put cinnamon, ground ginger, butter, eggs, raisins, and nuts. Okay, let's move along. I don't know. Anything I say will get me in trouble. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 109 points. The S&P 500 is up 2.5. NASDAQ is down 14. Oil's up $1.26 a barrel. I'm sure the president was not awake long enough to fill the strategic petroleum reserves. 10-year Treasury is down just a little bit at 4.637. Everything's waiting on the CPI numbers from tomorrow. Should we look at gas prices? Do we want to look at gas prices? Let's see. According to AAA, 3.36 a gallon is what they're saying. 507 here in the formerly Golden State. I got to go fill up after the show today, so I'll check that. 440 for you over there in Nevada, Josh. So 440. Are you paying more or less than 440? That's the state average. You're less. Okay. So maybe I'll be able to find something less than 507. Costco is where I generally go for that. But hey, I want to talk to you about something this morning that's a little different. We don't generally talk a whole lot about loan products, but I want to chat a little bit about a specialty product. Now, they even let me talk about this because I wasn't sure they'd let me talk about it because it is a sophisticated product. And generally when something's sophisticated, they leave this simple guy out. But I like this product. I like it a lot because no traditional mortgage payment, yet you have a 30-year mortgage. And when we compare it, I'm going to show you in just a minute how we compare this to a live client, not a dead one, but a client of ours that has actually got this scenario. And I'm not going to tell you where it is, who it is, or any of the personal information, but I'm just going to run through a scenario and see if it makes sense to you. Because maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Some people like to go with the old-fashioned way and take a lot longer to pay their mortgage off. But let's talk about this. So it reduces the cost of property ownership. As I mentioned, there's no traditional mortgage. You live off of your mortgage. Think about that one. It's a first position home equity line of credit. And I know people are out there saying, well, Ron, I've got a 3% mortgage. Well, the one we're going to compare it to is a 3.125. And we're going to save a boatload of money. You listen to this one. Pays off the home faster. Yet, one of the big issues of a mortgage, and one of the reasons I say home mortgages are ultra risky, is because lenders like our friends at Geneva Financial, and yes, I do lead a lending team there. So yes, our friends at Geneva, they don't lend money to people who need money. We only lend money to people who want money. So if you have no job, you can't prepay the loan, no money for you. So as you pay down your mortgage, you don't know what's going to happen a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. Might you need access to some of that equity? Well, this product has that for you. And if you wanted to use some of your home equity to maybe buy another piece of property and then turn it, you can use this program for that too. So a lot of different options in there. So what we're going to compare here, and good, Josh has it on the screen for us, is we're looking at two different loans, and they both basically start the same place. So they both have a $718,000 in principal on the loans. On a traditional loan, and I'm going to try and I got to get back to where the get it started, I think. Or, did I just blow it again? Compare. So let's go to the compare screen, Josh. So we're looking at home values $1.5 million. We got a $548,000 first mortgage on this. It was taken out about 29 months ago, 2.5 years. 3.125. Payment is $2473.55. This is the prior mortgage. Now, yes, this one does have a second on it, $170,000, and it's at, it's an adjustable rate, so it keeps going up. 10.5% interest, 29 months left. $1487.50 is that payment on that one. Now, one of the beauties of this product, and the reason it's I call it a sophisticated product, is because traditionally we make a regular mortgage payment every single month, right? So I've already given you the mortgage payments. Now on this product, what we say is don't make a normal mortgage payment. We're going to say live off of this loan. So you've got a direct deposit in this case of $12,000 a month, and we're looking at $144,000 a year for those of you keeping score. Now, we have extra money. Now, we're not spending all of that money on the mortgage payment, right? But we do have to live, and all the taxes, insurance, all that other kind of good stuff. We have to deal with that. But at the end of every month, there's about $3,000 left over. Now, that's savings. Maybe we're going to spend it down the road. But right now, we've got about $3,000 a month left over every single month. And that just stays in there. Now, as soon as your direct deposit hits, that's going to lower the principal balance on your mortgage. So what that does then is the amount of interest, because interest is calculated on this sophisticated product every day. But it's reducing that balance. You're not paying as much interest. Now, when we go to the results screen, you're going to see that on your traditional loan, you've got 27 years, 6 months still to pay on that. Under this product, how about 13 and a half years? What do you think about that? So go from 331 payments remaining to 162 of these non-traditional payments. Now, on there, you're going to be able to hit the grid button there, Josh, and it's going to say that the effective APR is 3.148 on the new product. Not too shabby when you're comparing that on the existing. Remember, we had a 3 1/8 on the first, plus we have the HELOC. That was 4.375 was the total. So APR, the average APR on the existing loan is at 4.375. The effective APR is 3.148, even though the interest rate starts a little bit higher. So let's continue our journey, and if I can figure out where it comes in at. One of the things I really like looking at on this is I like to look at the amortization table. And Josh, if you go back to where we had the results page and then click on it's not the grid. So we got to go back to the results because you can tell I'm a little slow on these things. I'm a simple guy. The one that says percentage, maybe, is that? No, that's not it either. I'm just jumping around here. Obviously, you can tell I'm a simple man. So I'm trying to find where we have an amortization table. And I love the amortization table on this because what that actually tells us, view pay down table under the results. If you look at the second year out, under the traditional loan, you've paid down $25,865 in principal. Under this Home Select program, you've paid down $37,400, an extra $12,000 over the first 2 years of paying down just by living with this. Now, whenever you need money, all you do is what we suggest here, the way to live with this is actually to go through there and live off of 2 credit cards, one that's payable the 15th of the month, one that's payable the 30th of the month. Pay them right out of this first position home equity line of credit. That way you have no interest on those credit cards, but you're keeping the money here, paying your mortgage down as long as possible. Again, the biggest thing that I love about this is when you look at how quickly the principal is coming down. After the 36th month, you've got $39,400 paid on a traditional mortgage, $74,000 on this specialty product. Now, some people don't want to pay the principal down this fast. I get it. Maybe you want to have a mortgage longer. We appreciate that. Every bank would. But if you want more information on this, if you want a custom scenario on this, just let me know and we'll chat about it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat with Jim Norton about his thoughts on this. I know I went through it really quick, so we may revisit some of the subjects. Life-changing events that move the housing market. We'll talk about it. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our program, you can reach me anytime, 800-306-1990. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You've got the phone. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They don't tell us APR, points paid, points received. They just tell us locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. These are Friday's numbers. 30-year conforming loan, 7.481, up a little bit. 30-year jumbo loan, 7.66, up. 30-year FHA loan, 7.235. That one was down a little. 30-year USDA loan, that was up 7.364. Rural areas, generally no down payment. Best loan on the market, it was up 7.234. That's the 30-year VA loan. And if you want our market thoughts every morning as early as we can get the data, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. We send that out each morning. Again, as early as we get the data. Let's see what's happening in the markets today. The S&P 500 is flat. It's up almost about 0.27. 10-year Treasury is up 2 basis points, 4.64. Mortgage-backed securities, those are down 8 basis points. They were uglier earlier in the day, so they're down now. The market, so that means the interest rates are moving in the right direction. We kind of like that when they move in the right direction. So let's take a look at what's driving these things. Let's see if there's is there anything driving the markets this morning? I know we're waiting heavy on data this week. So in the absence of data, the market just kind of flutters. So there's not a whole lot. We've got the Consumer Price Index report. CPI comes out on Tuesday. We've got retail sales coming out on Wednesday. Those are the big issues of the week. And yes, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is changing the way they're doing things again. So they're changing the methodology for how they report medical insurance, health insurance in the CPI numbers. So that may have an effect. We're going to watch that one. And we'll also see what all the numbers come out. That comes out tomorrow. So hold your seats, everybody. It's going to be a rocky one. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at the Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You've got the phone. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Jim Norton is with us. He's in the house. We're going to chat a little bit. We never know what we're going to chat about.
We have no idea.
Jim comes in here and we have a good chat. It's just about what's going on out there. So, Mr. Norton, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. But you just a minute ago, you got me swirling here. I want to talk about that loan program you had.
Okay.
But right now, you just said the same thing. Here comes more information in the CPI, but it's not going to be accurate because we have to change it. We have to adapt to it. And the point being is people really need to watch what information is out there, no matter who it's coming from.
Absolutely.
It's the internet has just been an explosion of information that confuses people to no end. And this is where people like you, people like me, and we come in to try to bring clarity.
Make sense of what's coming out.
To make sense of what's coming. Well, is this worth even looking at? Sometimes it's not even worth looking at.
Right.
Because that's not going to change your, I mean, a week ago, interest rates were falling. The sky was falling on the interest rates. And they're still 7.5. I mean, that's not falling.
Right.
You know, I mean, my magic number, I told you, my magic number for the market is 5.5. You get down to 5.5 and we're going again. You know, things are real. People are going to be.
Is that good or bad though?
In Southern California, it's not going to matter because there's no inventory. But in secondary markets, it's going to be good.
At 5.5, will that create inventory? Will that? Do you think that'll be exciting enough?
No.
You don't think it's going to be?
No, you've got. Where are we talking? Okay, again, remember we just talked about dissemination of information. Are you talking about California nationally? You're talking about Mississippi, Nashville, not
well, the thing
Boise. What are you talking about?
Here's what we need. Here's what's needed, or our desire here. We've got to have. We need that 5.5, or if we have that 5.5. The real question is, it doesn't matter what part of the country. What's most important to me with that is that going to be a motivation for that person that has a 4% loan to sell their house?
Now, if we're going to take that line of questioning, I agree. If you get down to 5.5, they're going to think, okay, maybe it is time to take advantage of what we have in order to get what we want.
Cash in a little equity there and maybe pay off some bills.
But then also maybe get the house of your dreams.
Sure.
Or
the house of your current situation.
Correct.
Right? Because
I guess we can't say dreams anymore because it is current situation.
Well, it could be your dream. I mean, if you're in a
3-bedroom and you just had another kid, you want a 4-bedroom, and you're thinking, okay, 4-bedroom.
You're showing your age here, Mr. Norton.
What?
Well, because
I'm not having another kid.
No, when you're 20,
I'm not Blake.
When you're 25, you're looking for your house, your dreams. You might be going for that 4-bedroom white picket fence with a pool in the backyard. When you're old like me, I'm starting to say, okay, well, you know something? Do I need that big house, or am I looking for something smaller with less maintenance out in the Coachella Valley? Or by the beach.
Yeah, do we want a condo somewhere?
Right.
Condo on Maui and call it a day.
And maybe that's the house of my current dreams, right?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously your dreams change, but the idea is that you originally you bought what you could afford,
right?
Built up some equity, paid it down, then you sold that, rotated to another, and then rotated to another, and then you rotate to the downsize.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, from that
by bigger, by right size.
By right size. But I don't know. I think the buyer though today, and now here we go, taking a left turn. But the buyer today, I think, is a little more savvy. I'm seeing a lot of people look at young people, and they're looking at the 1-stories very strongly. 1-story is a very big seller right now, and they're thinking, my parents had a 2-story. It was more than they always said there was more than we needed. We're going to go 1-story, and now we can stay in it longer. So will that number go up? That'll be interesting. We can't.
But are builders building 1-stories?
No.
It doesn't make much sense to build a 1-story, does it?
They can't make it pencil because the cost of the land in Southern California, the cost of the land. You can get outside of Southern California, you'll get the 1-story.
You get a 1,400 square foot on 1-story or a 2,800 on 2 stories. You're going to be able to get a lot more money, as a builder and as the resale.
But the 2,400 square foot 1-story ranch style California home.
We can't do that in Irvine because the lots aren't that big.
Welcome to Villa Park,
Yeah, the lots aren't that big somewhere.
No, you're in markets that are terribly, terribly expensive, for the average buyer. But
cost of the land is too high to make that work.
Right. But, and then again, some of the 1-stories you see come out, they've only been about, 1,200, 1,400. Condos are 1,200 square feet in terms of footage. So yeah, it's now we're talking.
So then we're going to go to multifamily, do you think?
You know, I think we're trying to go up in California. We're trying to get high rise and with a condo sale, that type
Right.
of situation. It's just having trouble getting a foothold.
Well, there's certain times that might help that. I mean, like right now.
Yes, right
Wouldn't you
now
like to
would
live
be-
if you worked in downtown Los Angeles? You'd probably like living in downtown Los Angeles instead of having to drive on the 10. Well, you can't drive on the 10 freeway, so right. I mean, you don't have a choice. So
I definitely think you have a point that people would definitely buy something closer to where they work, where their career might be. I mean, if you have a career in a specific industry that's located in a specific area, we all talk about Hollywood, Silicon Valley. We're talking about that kind of stuff. You want to be near it. You're going to probably be less reluctant to not look for a condo and a high rise.
now, and then the other part of your thought, does it have to do with your circle of friends?
Yes, I think that's
right, because you and I are both a little aged. We're on the long.
We have a different. I mean, our circle has not only friends that are old friends, but we also have. What are the kids going to do? Where are the kids going to be? Do we want to?
No, but I mean, also,
do we want to be near grandkids?
I want a single family, a single story, just because I got bad knees. And as I get older, you want that. That makes more sense. Do the young people see that, or is it just because you and I are on the?
I think they do. I think
downside.
I think they see that. I think
okay.
I think they see it, but I think that some cases, some of them are saying, "Hey, I'm going to stay here for a while." But like I said, that prediction we won't know that for 10 more years, and by that 10 more years, we won't care what they're doing.
Yeah, well, and the idea there is stay there a while. I don't know about that either, because right now you need that third or fourth I call it a third income. In Southern California, if you're making say 70,000, your wife's making 70,000 or whatever the number is. I think it's or 70,000 household income. I think it's closer to 70,000 household income. So if you're making a $70,000 household income and you've got a $400,000 property that's appreciating at 5%, that's almost another income in the house.
Correct.
Right. So you want to get that smaller property to start with, and you should be thinking realistic that's not going to be your long-term home.
Well, on the other hand, this is how I can't stay on one subject, is going back to that program you mentioned with Geneva. Okay. The first thing I was thinking, you were thinking about consolidating down the interest rate and everything. First thing I was thinking is wait a minute, it has if you take the HELOC portion, why can't you buy another property? Now, let's say you do that as a flip. Then you take that flip profit, pay down that loan again, and set up for the next flip.
Yeah.
One flip every 2 years in a 10-year period, where would you end up? I'm not even. I don't even need to do the math.
You're going to tell us that in the next segment.
You're going to be zero.
Oh, now you give away the whole.
I know, but I can't. I love it. It's like when you think.
Josh, we got to turn his mic off quicker so that we can get we can get. Yeah, he's in radio. You'd think that he comes on long enough.
All right, let's go.
Okay. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, life-changing events that move the housing market. We'll talk about that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Life-changing events that move the housing market. Life is a journey filled with unexpected twists and turns. Like the excitement of welcoming a new addition, retiring and starting a new adventure, or the bittersweet feeling of an empty nest. If something like this is changing in your own life, you may be considering buying or selling a house. That's because through all these life-altering events, there is one common thread: the need to move. Reasons people still need to move today, according to the National Association of Realtors, NAR. There have been a lot of this type of milestone or life-changing events over the last 2 years. There's a chart, life-changing events that took place over the last 2 years. Births, 7 million. People reaching 65, 7 million. Deaths, 4,000. Marriages, 3 million. Divorces, 1.5 million.
50%.
That's according to the
true.
National Association of Realtors. And these big life changes are going to continue to impact people moving forward, even with the current affordability challenges brought on by higher mortgage rates and the rising home prices. As Claire Trapeso, executive news editor at Realtor.com, says, quote, because the high mortgage rates, elevated home prices, and stubbornly low inventory make today's housing market particularly challenging. Many of today's buyers are motivated by life changes such as growing families, supporting elderly parents, or grown children, or accommodating professional needs, unquote. Lean on a real estate professional for help. Whether you're beginning your search for a home or preparing to sell your current house, you don't have to go it alone. With their expertise, a real estate agent is an invaluable partner who can help you smoothly transition through these big moments in your life. Here are just a few examples. When buying a home, if you're welcoming a new addition and want more space, the need for a new home may be a top priority. While higher home prices and mortgage rates are creating challenges for buyers, you may have to find a way to meet your challenging needs, even with today's mortgage rates. A skilled real estate agent can help. Their expertise and knowledge of the local housing market can save you a considerable amount of time and stress. An agent will take the time to understand your specific needs, budget, and preferences, allowing them to narrow down your search and present you with suitable options. When selling a house, if you're retiring or going through a separation or divorce, your main focus may be to make the most out of your investment when selling your house so you can find one that works better for you moving forward. This is another place where a real estate agent's expertise truly shines. They can accurately assess your home's market value, suggest home improvements to enhance its appeal, and craft a strategic marketing plan. Their negotiating skills are a big asset when it comes to making sure you get a fair price for your house, allowing you to move on to the next chapter of your life with confidence and peace of mind. No matter your situation, lean on a trusted professional for help as you buy your home. Bottom line, if recent life-changing events have you wanting or needing to move forward, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation, we're chatting with Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100, just having a little real estate chat. And I shared the new Geneva Financial Home Select program in the opening segment. If you missed that, just a way to take your 27 and a half years left on your mortgage and cut the time in half, paying less, not even paying a traditional mortgage. But Jim came up with this concept we were chatting about. And being that is a first position home equity line of credit, you can take money in, put money into it, bring down your principal, pay less interest, or you can take money out of it, not to buy a car or a boat, although you could do that. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad if you're making that car payment back to the home equity line of credit and you're doing it in a very, very methodical way so that you're not just incurring debt on a depreciating asset. But Jim came up with this idea because he is a builder, or was a builder.
It's a was.
A was. So, you could just picture if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv.
No,
or
I
any
didn't
of
have
our
a nail gun in
socials.
my hand.
See it with a hammer. You'd probably hit me in the head with it.
Yeah, had a nail gun, I'd shoot my foot.
So tell us your idea that you had before we went to break.
No, I was just thinking, as you were talking about paying down an auto loan, but some people are looking at it, they're saying, boy, I wish I had a cash reserve. So this loan has a ability for a home equity line.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's like, wait a minute, did anybody think about the overall? You move
Well,
into
even
this-
if you look at this loan that we were talking about earlier, and I think Josh can bring it back up on the screen. We were looking at it. It was $1.5 million, I think, was the house value, and that was 2.5 years ago. So it's probably worth more now.
Right.
And it's got $700,000 in liens on it.
Right.
So, and this loan can go up to 80%. So you can go to $1.2 million. So you've got about $500,000 there in available cash.
Yep.
So now tell me what your thoughts are with.
No, what if you took some of that available cash that's
Right.
under this loan? I don't know what the LTV can go up to, but let's just say you could get a couple of 100,000 more out of the house.
Right.
You buy something either as a rental or as a fixer-upper for a flip. I mean, we're all watching them. Remember, number one rule of the flip, though, time is money. So flip fast.
Right.
And so that's always my key for flippers. Flip fast. Don't get caught worrying about, gee, did I put the right light fixture in? Put the light fixture in, flip the house, get your money back.
And the other thing I want to throw in there, because my wife watches some of these reality TV shows.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
And they drive me nuts because they make the same stupid mistake every time. He's saying, and someone like me, I'm saying, didn't you know that there was going to be some unplanned expenses? You've been doing this for how many years?
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to tell you on your first one, put a contingency in, what, 10, 15%?
Easily.
You know, for unexpected expenses, because they're going to happen. Expect them.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's say you become a flipper. So every 2 years, you take some of your equity line, you flip a house, you take the profit, and you put it to pay down this equity line or this loan.
So go back 1 second here.
Go ahead.
Because you've done this before. I don't want to go to one of these goofy thoughts where, okay, I'm going to buy a house in Southern California, probably Riverside, San Bernardino area, Temecula, North San Diego, whatever. And I could buy a $600,000 house and I'm going to sell it for $1 million. Is that realistic?
No.
Good.
That's like that's like on Instagram. You get a side hustle and you can make $10,000 a month, and
right.
It's like maybe there's 4 or 5 people do it. There are people doing it. Let me put it this way: there are people doing it.
So
but nothing happens.
What should I
quick
expect
and
is a realistic expectation? 5%, 10%?
I think you could easily you should be able to hit 10%.
10% return on your.
Wait a minute. Let's back that up, because
Okay.
you can't look at it from the standpoint of reasonable return. What you have to do is you have to look at it too is what is affordability. So if you're paying, if you can get the house for 800 and you're going to put 100 into it and you could sell it for $1 million, you're going to get part of that 100 back. I mean, I'm not taking out fees, carry, some other things, So let's say you're probably net.
Well, let's talk about that though,
Jim. You net $50,000.
Okay, so
but you're taking that $50,000 and paying down your first.
Paying down that original mortgage where you got the money.
You do that over your chances are you're going to be in your house for at least 10 years.
Sure.
It's just 10 years goes by so fast. People don't realize that. So you do that 5 times. That's $500,000, and you started with $500,000 mortgage. You now have zero. You have total equity.
He's a
which
realtor,
you can
folks.
really go do some
We'll
stuff
get him
with.
the math numbers here, but 50,000 profit times 5 is not $500,000.
Oh, that's right. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Bad.
So
math. I was thinking of the 10 years. I had the wrong number. But yeah, but still,
you're right.
250 down. You paid down what?
But I want to back up. Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Here, because something you said there that I want to really, really drive home. You bought an $800,000 property and you're putting 100 into it. You're looking at a $50,000 profit. Don't sneeze or don't laugh at $50,000 profit. How much are you making on your day job? Right? The idea here is I want a realistic expectation. And that's what bothers me a lot of times is we get into some of these things and people think, well, I'm going to become a millionaire instead of a, not everybody's Hank Aaron. There's a lot more Pete Roses out there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Hank Aaron, a great home run hitter, but Pete Rose hit 3,000 singles or 4,000 singles or hits.
Yeah.
Not looking for the home run every time. You're just looking to get on base every single time.
And I mean, and the point being though, is in 10 years, if you did 5, 6, 7 of these, that's good hitting.
Sure.
You got to
one a year.
You got to remember, and the funniest part about baseball, I always laughed. A friend of mine told me this one. He says, interesting. A baseball player is considered great if he hits 400, but in my business, I have to hit 1,000,
right?
Because I can't be wrong, otherwise my customers won't come back.
Right, exactly.
And it's like that's a 600-point spread.
Yeah.
So
you're in the Hall of Fame if you fail 70% of the time in baseball.
If you fail,
you're in the Hall of Fame.
But yet, as he said, this was an auto mechanic, and he says, but if I don't hit 1,000, I don't have any customers because they're not going to come back to me.
Right.
And I says, if I could hit 400 by just taking the oil out of the car and not putting it back in. It's ridiculous. But that's problem is people need to sit down and think about it, because like you said, it's not 5%, it's not 10%, whatever the number becomes, but it's $50,000.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, it's
so and it takes some work.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. As we said earlier with the side hustles are work just as much as work is work.
Yeah, and you got to realize that there's no free lunch.
No, there is no.
Right. I mean, they put these things on there on social media, and they tell you the good part about how much you're going to make there, and they don't tell you that. Well, yeah, but you've got to come up with 5 new posts every single day, and so it's not like it's just going to happen. Nothing just happens. Just throwing that out there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, what are accessory dwelling units, and how can they benefit you? We'll chat about that one. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Got a quickie for you. What are ADUs, accessory dwelling units, and how can they benefit you? Maybe you're in the market for a home and are having a hard time finding a right one that fits your budget. Or perhaps you're already a homeowner in need of extra income or a place for loved ones. Whether as a potential home buyer or homeowner with changing needs, accessory dwelling units, or ADUs for short, may be able to help you reach your goals. As AARP says, quote, an ADU is a small residence that shares a single-family lot with a larger primary dwelling, unquote. Quote, an ADU is an independent, self-contained living space with a kitchen or kitchenette, bathroom, and sleeping area, unquote. Another quote, an ADU can be located within, attached to, or detached from the main residence. It can be created out of an existing structure, such as a garage, or built anew, unquote. If you're thinking about whether an ADU makes sense for you as a buyer or a homeowner, there's some useful information and benefits that ADUs can provide. Keep in mind that regulations for ADUs vary based on where you live, so lean on a local real estate professional for more information. The benefits of the ADU Freddie Mac and the AARP identify some of the best features of ADUs for both buyers and homeowners. Living close by but still apart. ADUs allow loved ones to live together while having separate spaces. That means you can enjoy each other's company and help each other out with things like childcare, but also have privacy when needed. If this appeals to you, you may want to consider buying a home with an ADU or adding an ADU onto your house. According to Freddie Mac, quote, having an accessory dwelling unit on an existing property has become a popular way for homeowners to offer independent living space to family members. Aging in place. Similarly, ADUs allow older people to be close to loved ones who can help them if they need it as they age. It gives them the best of both worlds. Independence and support from loved ones. For example, if your parents are getting older and you want them nearby, you may want to buy a home with an ADU or build one onto that property. Affordable to build, since ADUs are often on the smaller side, they're typically less expensive to build than larger standalone homes. Building one can increase your property's value. Generating additional income. If you own a home with an ADU or you build an ADU on your land, it can help generate rental income you could use toward your own mortgage payments. If it's worth noting that because an ADU exists on a single-family lot as a secondary dwelling, it typically cannot be sold separately from the primary residence, but that's changing in some states. Again, work with a professional to figure that out. These are a few of the reasons why many people who benefit from ADUs think they're a good idea. As Scott Wild, Senior Vice President of Consulting at John Burns Research says, quote, it's gone from a small niche in the market to really a much more impactful part of new housing, unquote. Bottom line, ADUs have some great advantages for buyers and homeowners alike. If you're interested, give me a call at 800-306-1990. We'll chat about it. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation. Jim Norton is with us. What are your thoughts about ADUs, Jim?
The swimming pool of the millennium.
The swimming pool of the millennium.
Remember in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in California?
I don't remember the 60s.
Oh, you do too.
Okay.
The 60s, 70s, 80s, everybody had a swimming pool in Southern California.
Right.
Swimming, and if you sold your house and you had a swimming pool, it was an extra $25,000. You know, it was the highlight of the house. Does it have a pool? Yes. Oh, great. Then, now we kind of split that with RV parking. You got to have RV parking. ADU is becoming the next steal. Does the house have ADU or ADU potential? It's going to come into play more than you think. But I'll give you something. When you were talking, I don't know why everybody says it the same way. If you have as the parents get older, you might look at a house to buy. The heck with that. The kids don't want to leave home. Put them in an ADU out in the backyard, out in the side yard. Let them live in the ADU. You keep the big house.
Well, whoever's making the payment gets the bigger property.
Better yet, you're right. Golden rule. Stick with the golden rule.
Yeah. or I wonder if you make a small enough ADU, the kids may decide they want their own property.
Yeah. That would be the idea, that they could get a lift from the ADU. They could get a lift by savings and everything to eventually to buy their own property. And then when you go to sell that property, you're gonna have the ADU as the benefit, and that's going to get more. That is what is going to get stronger here in Southern California. The demand for the house with the ADU.
I like
done
the idea.
properly too.
Yeah, done properly.
Okay.
I kind of like the idea, because right now, because I am old and I have some older philosophies, I think that having a parent or grandparent raising kids is a good idea, right? And if you have the multi-generational living and someone is still there to help the kids, mom and right now in Southern California especially, you have a 2-income household required, right? Correct. You need both incomes to afford the mortgage.
Right.
So if grandma or grandpa can be there to help, there's a loving someone who has a vested interest in looking after the kids, grandkids.
It's so I don't even know where to start. This is such a large subject, but the assistance that a family can give to each other is amazing. The parents have the equity, they have the house, you do the ADU, then you help the kids buy their house. I mean, you're basically helping each other as you step from one part of life to another part of life. There's a lot to say and a lot to be able to do, especially in some of these large lot areas of Southern California, that you could really do a good job.
That would not be Irvine.
No, I don't think they. I'm not sure. I don't remember being a lot over. Well, there are actually. I should Shady Canyon.
Yeah, so
But
it's generally a smaller lot.
4,000 square foot lots are very difficult. 10-foot backyards very difficult. But you go into the North Orange County area from Anaheim to Dana Park.
So Jim, how
to
long does it take to
Yerba
build a ADU?
ADUs can be very quick.
Really?
Yes, because the permitting is streamlined. It's the entitlement process doesn't really come into play because it's on your property. Don't forget you do have to put a sewer line in for it, so you're going to have to you're going to have to dig up something so to get the utilities to it. But you're not doing the street utility. You're doing it on the property for the most part. You can do all this with your architect, realtor, your team. You can get all the information of this, but no. And then there's the other side of the ADU, which is a lot of companies are making what we used to call modular homes or mobile home.
Sure.
They're making that in the form of the ADU, where they can just pretty much drop it in and it can be ready to go in less than 6 weeks.
Wow.
And then additionally, one more is you have these companies now that are doing they're doing large homes and ADUs, but they're pre-built in a factory. It is still a stick framed drywall. I mean, it's on a slab, but they just bring the pieces out, they put them together, and it's up.
Big jigsaw puzzle.
Big jigsaw puzzle.
All right.
Actually,
stuff.
Think of them more like big Lego blocks.
Big Lego block. There we go. Hey, if you have any questions about these, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.